Anyhow, I wanted to talk to you about illegal immigration because it's really hard to wrap your head around just how many people have come into our country illegally. So I was reading an article today about it that just started putting it in perspective, and I was absolutely shocked. If you were to collect up all of the people who have migrated illegally to the United States between January 1st and April 30th of this year, so the first 4 months of the year, just the first 4 months of the year, those people would outnumber the population of 75 different countries. Countries like Luxembourg, countries like Jamaica, countries like Panama. So 75 countries. If you were to make a city out of those people, that city would be the 9th largest city in America. There would only be 9 cities. I'm sorry, be the 10th largest city in America. There'd only be 9 cities in America bigger than the city, call it Dependistan, made by the illegal migrants. There are more people came into the United States illegally across the southern border in those 4 months than the total populations of 6 American states. North and South Dakota, Vermont, we're talking about Alaska, states like that. Unbelievable, those numbers. But that pales in comparison to the total number of illegal migration or illegal migrants that are currently residing in the United States, because we already had something like 22 million before Donald Trump left office. And so if there were already 22 million illegal migrants, and we're adding 5 or 6 million in the first 4 years of the Biden administration. If Biden gets another 4 years, by the end of the second Biden administration, we could easily say that there are more illegal migrants in the United States than there are residents in California. California being the largest, the most populous U.S. state at 38 million people. It's absolutely ridiculous, the number of people who are coming in across our southern border. And the numbers are not going down, depending on what, regardless of what you're hearing in the media, from the government, from Alejandro Mayorkas. Those numbers are not going down. They're just changing how they lie about the statistics. So what they're doing is collecting up the migrants in Mexico, pre-clearing them, not giving them asylum because they don't have an asylum claim. They can't legitimately claim asylum. Just asking them if they plan to claim asylum, and then putting them on buses and busing them through the legal ports of entry into the United States and across the United States to cities all over this country. So this is an absolutely huge, huge problem. Not only that, but not all of the people who are coming in are running away from oppression and violence and crime. Many of them, we're finding that they are actually coming into a life of crime and oppression and violence here in the United States because they are being used as essentially slave workers in illegal marijuana grows all across the U.S.
North and South America. You might be surprised at how many Chinese nationals are now trying to get into the U.S. Our correspondent Chuck Holton is in Reno, Nevada with the very latest. Chuck.
That's right, Rita. We've been sort of trying to track down why there are so many Chinese nationals coming to the United States illegally all of a sudden. And one of the things we've found is very concerning. As it turns out, 7 of the 17 states that have legalized recreational use of marijuana, that's caused an explosion in the number of illegal marijuana grows across the country, especially here in California. And many of those grows are being put together by Chinese mafia. They're buying up farms in very remote areas, and they're bringing in illegal Chinese migrants to work these grows. And when they do that, those Chinese migrants have no rights. They get their documents taken away, and they're not even being paid in some cases. And so, the narrative is that these people are fleeing war and oppression and poverty in the countries that they're leaving. But in many cases, for these Chinese migrants and Mexicans and others, they are actually coming to persecution and poverty here in the United States. Now, I think it's important to point out, it's hard to even wrap your head around the numbers of people who are coming in across the southern border. If you count just the first 4 months of this year, Rita, what we're looking at is a population of people coming illegally into the United States larger than 6 states, larger than Delaware, North and South Dakota, larger than Alaska. There's also 75 countries in the world that have populations smaller than the number of people who have come into the United States illegally in the first 4 months of this year. We're talking about the Bahamas, Luxembourg, countries like that. And so it's an absolute crisis, but the narrative that they're all fleeing war and oppression is just flat wrong. Rita?
Wow, that is absolutely stunning when you talk about all the different nationalities and also the ties to marijuana. Chuck, thank you very, very much. Really interesting report.
In Oklahoma, California, lots of different places, we're finding out that 95% of the people that are arrested working on illegal marijuana grows are illegal migrants. That is absolutely mind-blowing. And we've got a lot more on that story that will be coming out over the next few weeks on Newsmax and on CBN News. So stay tuned for that.